The day the Coles call was just arrived at work. It was first call, start a shift. Myself and Officer Rhodes got sent to a suspicious character, possible shoplifter at Coles.
The suspect got quite a ways away, so I jumped back to my vehicle and started driving back down that way, and Officer Nelson did the same. He ended up kind of cutting her off on one end, and I stopped on the other, and before we got out of our vehicles, I saw her take off down towards this pond area.
Myself and Officer Rhodes were standing there talking to her, trying to get her to come back out of the water. She swam out to the middle. We got her to come back to where she could touch.
The water was pretty nasty. I mean, it smelled bad. It had green algae stuff growing on it. I mean, it was pretty gross. And he's like, I don't know if I want to get in the water. I was like, I don't know if I want to either, but I think we're gonna have to.
We received a call. We were getting logged on at the station, coming on to shift. Shortly after I got there, we noticed that she was having a hard time maintaining, trying to keep above water.
She gets out there and then she starts kind of flailing her arms again and starts yelling for help.
So myself and Officer Rhodes started taking off our equipment, our vests, and then we went in the water after.
And at that point I started swimming out to where I thought she last was. I heard other officers kind of yelling, and the officers on the other side of the pond were shining a light to where they had last seen her. So they were trying to kind of guide me towards where she had gone under. Out of nowhere, I felt the tip of my toe touch the tip of her finger, and it was just a little nudge. And at that point, I was like, all right, I got her. And I dove under, and I was able to grab a hold of her, and I pulled her up.
Once he got her up, I was just getting out to him. At that point, we were able to bring her back to the shore where Officer Little and Officer Lane were standing there waiting for us.
I started administering first aid, CPR, chest compressions on her with the assistance of another officer, Officer Lane. And after what seemed like a rather lengthy period of time, we were able to finally get her to start responding to us and start taking shallow breaths.
As I come up out of my car, come up on scene, Officer Rhodes and Nelson are soaking wet, pulling her out of the water. They're pulling her up onto the bank where Officer Little is grabbing her and pulling her up onto the shore. Those guys are the guys that saved her, 100%. I got there in time to assist Officer Little, who was just starting to do chest compressions, and that man is amazing. He is a father. He would not stop. It wouldn't matter. He wouldn't stop chest compressions, even if somebody had to pull him off of her. He knew what he had to do, and he did it.
In the end, that's what we signed up to do. All law enforcement, fire, EMS. I mean, everybody signed up to do the same thing, and that's make a difference in the community, save lives. And I couldn't sit there and watch her drown. I don't think I did anything differently than anybody else would have.
I think that there's plenty of times in a career where you have the opportunity to do something heroic, but none of us consider ourselves heroes.
Congratulations to this year's Public Servant Award recipients.